Hi, I'm Emma Wilson. I'm 22 years old, and right now I'm sitting in my dorm room at Johns Hopkins University, where I'm finishing my degree in biomedical engineering. And here's the kicker: I'm on a full scholarship. It pays for everything: my tuition, my books, and even gives me a monthly stipend. But honestly, if you told me 4 years ago that I'd be here, I wouldn't have believed you. Not after that day. The day I found out my parents had drained my entire college fund to pay for my brother's massive, over-the-top wedding. I still remember that moment vividly. My hands were shaking as I stared at the bank statements. Years of promises, gone, just like that. Growing up, my brother Tyler and I were close, despite the 4-year age gap. He let me tag along with his friends, and he always stood up for me when I was bullied. But our parents? They had favorites, and it wasn't exactly a secret. Tyler was the golden child. They never missed his football games. Even when his report cards were terrible, they'd take him out for dinner to celebrate. Meanwhile, my straight A's were brushed off with a quick, "That's what we expect from you, Emma." Still, I believed them. They told me they were saving for my college since I was little. They called it Emma's Future Fund. I trusted them. Every birthday, they'd make a show of depositing money for me. I even added my own cash. Birthday gifts, babysitting money, paychecks from my library job. I thought we were all working toward my dream. But in their eyes, Tyler's wedding was apparently more important than my future. They assumed that without their money, I'd settle. Maybe community college. Or no college at all. They thought I'd stay dependent on them forever. They were wrong. I grew up in a quiet, middle-class neighborhood in Pennsylvania. From the outside, we looked like the perfect family, but inside that house, it was crystal clear. Tyler was everything. I was the afterthought. When I was 10, they made a big deal about starting my college fund. It was the first time I felt truly seen. I was so proud I even started adding my own savings. But Tyler, he got everything he wanted. Hockey camp, cars, expensive tutors, no questions asked. When I was 10, they made a big deal about starting my own savings. But Tyler, he got everything he wanted: hockey camp, cars, expensive tutors, no questions. Still, I kept telling myself, my time will come.
I grew up in a quiet middle-class neighborhood in Pennsylvania. From the outside, we looked like the perfect family. But inside that house, it was crystal clear. Tyler was everything. I was the afterthought. When I was 10, they made a big deal about starting my college fund. It was the first time I felt truly seen. I was so proud, I even started adding my own savings. But Tyler, he got everything he wanted: hockey camp, cars, expensive tutors, no questions asked. Still, I kept telling myself, my time will come. By high school, I was thriving. Top of my class, perfect GPA, taking every AP course. I even discovered my passion for biomedical engineering during an AP biology class. I saw myself designing prosthetics, creating tech that could change lives. But whenever I shared my excitement at dinner, my parents would quickly shift the conversation back to Tyler. His new job, his girlfriend, Melissa, who came from a wealthy, connected family my parents adored. Then Tyler announced his engagement during college, and my parents, oh, they were ecstatic. This is the best thing that's ever happened to our family. They said it out loud. Meanwhile, I sat there thinking, did any of my accomplishments ever make you this happy? One evening, I overheard them talking in the kitchen about wedding costs. "We can use some of Emma's college fund," my mom said casually. "She'll get scholarships anyway. We can replace it later." And my dad? "It's not like she's going to those fancy schools. State college is fine. My heart sank. They were already spending it. Weeks later, while they were off wedding planning, I went to my dad's office. I found the folder labeled Emma's Education. What I found shattered me. The account, which they'd claimed was secure for me, barely had $5,400 left. Earlier that year, there had been over $89,000. I flipped through the statements. $30,000 gone for a wedding venue, $25,000 for catering and photography, thousands more for the dress, honeymoon, flowers. They had spent everything on Tyler's wedding. When they got home that night, I confronted them. "What is this?" I asked, holding the statements. My father? Furious I had looked at private documents. My mother? Guilty, but unapologetic. Tyler's wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime event. We couldn't let him get married somewhere cheap. I couldn't believe it. What about my education? Doesn't that matter to you? I asked, shaking. My dad's answer? Stop being dramatic. You're smart. You'll figure something out. You can get loans or go to community college. Tyler will help you once he's stable. They expected me to be financially dependent on my brother after they stole my future. That night, I cried like I never had before, but I also made myself a promise. I would find another way. I would succeed without them. I applied for every scholarship I could find. I stayed up late writing essays, filling out applications, asking teachers for letters, and I won a full scholarship to Johns Hopkins. Everything covered: tuition, books, housing, even a stipend. They couldn't touch it. When I told my parents, they were stunned, then tried to take credit. "We knew you'd make it, Emma. See, we always said you'd find a way." But I knew the truth. This wasn't their victory. It was mine.